Hey guys, here we are again for part 2. I guess you would call this a mini-series going through the College of Policing, the independent external review of Lancashire Constabulary's handling of the Nicola Bulley case. So I was going to do it in a chronological, just from start to finish, like you would read a book. But I've had so many people ask me my opinion on Peter Faulding and what he's been saying in the media that I've decided to do Peter so it will shut people up. So we're going to skip to chapter 5 because that's the last chapter. Peter is nestled in chapter 5, right at the end before the appendices. That's where he belongs. All right. But there's quite a bit about him. It's funny. Funny as anything. If you have read it, it's funny. But what he's been saying in the media in the last couple of days is even funnier. I do feel really sorry for Nicola's family, though, because it's brought all the old conspiracy theories back up. So I do feel for them. However, that was Peter all over. Yeah, I do. I love Peter, Karen. I really love him. He's my favourite person in the whole wide world. He really is. He really is. So we're going to do chapter 5 tonight. It doesn't really matter what order you do the chapters in because they're standalone chapters. So we'll do that. All right. So the majority of that is Peter. Let's see who's in the house, though. JD, RZ, Holly, Terry, Tammy, Mike, Karen. What else we've got? Natalia, Sandra. No, it's not started yet. Well, it has now. It has started now, Natalia. It has. Linda, 6 a.m. up all night for this. Oh, wow. Wow. Well, I hope you get a good day's sleep later after this. What else have we got? Tracy, CW, Jennifer from Alabama, Purple AJ, Jean, Mommy, Shazza, XX from the north of Ireland, Angie Baby, Hamilton Art, Samantha, Criminal Med, Owen Flo, and that's it. Wigan in the house, Karen. Wigan in the house. I could probably shout and you could hear me. We're that close. Depends whereabouts in Wigan you are, I guess. All right. So let us begin. So I'm not going to recap the case. Like yesterday, I spent a little bit of time recapping the case. So I'm assuming that if you're in this chat tonight, then you know the basics of the case. So I'm not going to recap. I'm going to go straight into... I'm going to go straight into chapter 5. All right. I'm on a bigger screen tonight. I've swapped computers around just to make it easier. So we're going to be reading this. We're going to be looking at the map. We're going to be looking at some of my footage to give it all context. And then we're going to read what the report says first about Peter and look at some of the links that they've included. And then we'll look at what good old Peter has been saying in the media over the last couple of days. He's such an infuriating man. He really is. All right. I'll try to be serious. Okay. Try to keep the snort to a minimum. However, somebody in my chat, not in the chat, in the comments after the live, put that I was very rude and very disrespectful for laughing throughout the live stream. So, yeah, well, they got blocked because it was very early this morning and I was in absolutely no mood to deal with nonsense. So I'll probably go and unblock them at some point if I remember. But yeah. No, you've not missed much. You've not missed anything at all, Vicky. I've just been saying hello to people, and we're just about to start reading. So chapter 5, there's a little bit about Paul Ansell, and then it goes into Peter. So he must be proud, he's got the majority of a chapter. And then there's a little bit at the end, which kind of relates to Peter and kind of just veers off a little bit from Peter. All right, so we're just going to read the whole chapter. So this is the chapter on external influences on the investigation, media and social media activity. And I think this is where the police really fell down, that they didn't engage the media and social media to its best effect. And I think that was a massive problem. They were very defensive. And while I can understand that they've got work to do, I think there are ways to harness the media and social media to the positive. And yes, obviously, they've got to take some of the negative as well. But as I said last night, I'll refer you to the way that the cops dealt with the Idaho case before Brian Koberger was arrested. I thought they handled it very well. They engaged the media. They got social media all talking about the Elantra, which obviously it wasn't some kind of ruse to, we find out that Brian Koberger did have an Elantra, but it engaged social media and to a useful effect. And of course, there was, people going for the boyfriends and the neighbors, and that's to be expected. But the police did come out very, very early in the case and said who they cleared. And I thought that was really good practice. I really do. But there's only so much any police service can do. Social media does take on a life of its own in any high profile case, and they do have to work with that. But I think Lancashire Police and all police, I said this last night, this is not just Lancashire Police that there's a problem with. I think UK police forces all across the nations are way behind in their understanding of how to harness social media and how to deal with it. They might have a media person, but they're way behind. They're way behind the times. I saw that when I did some research work with them back in, what would that have been, 2013, 14. They were way behind. And look how much true crime and missing persons cases and so much have grown in the last 9 or 10 years. Look at how many true crime channels there are on YouTube, and of course there's TikTok. I think TikTok now is even bigger than YouTube for true crime. It's a easily accessible way, particularly for young people, to access true crime stories and missing persons cases, and it can all be used really positively. So I think that's a massive learning point. But anyway, okay, so there's only a couple of paragraphs on Paul Ansell, and then it goes into Peter Faulding. Okay, Mr. Ansell was included in reporting across the press and media after his partner, Nicola Bulley, was reported as missing from home on the 27th of January 2023. As a key family member, Mr. Ansell was a prominent voice surrounding her disappearance. Media attention on Mr. Ansell began to increase from the 3rd of February once he started to provide media interviews. It's entirely understandable that he wished to undertake media activity to help find Nicola. Listen, the way things are in this day and age, if I had a family member go missing, I would not give interviews to the media. I really wouldn't. I'd use it all for my own personal social media, but I wouldn't give interviews to the media, simply because you can't control what the media does with it. You can't. So when Paul spoke to Sky News and he was smiling, and it was a very nervous smile. He's the kind of person, I think, probably maybe a little bit, I don't know, a little bit on the spectrum, maybe. And I mean, I've no idea, but that's kind of, you know, a little bit, maybe a little bit socially anxious, rather than saying he's on the spectrum, maybe a little bit socially anxious. And a lot of people smile when they're nervous, right? And people just ran with that. And it was horrible. And I'm seeing it on Twitter. I actually haven't been on Twitter since this morning because I've been disgusted with some of the things that I've seen on there. And I'm definitely not going to search Nicola Bulley hashtag because it's just horrendous. It will calm down after a few days once Peter shuts his mouth and goes back under the rock that he came from. Okay. Oh, have we got hate in here? Have we got hate in here? Have we? Socially awkward. Yeah. That's a good way to describe it, Samantha. A little bit socially awkward. But, I mean, he might not be. He might be the most, you know, bubbly, life and soul of the party kind of guy. But when a family member goes missing and the entire world's media are staring at you, you're probably going to feel socially awkward, right? And then he did the Channel 5 thing. The missing program on Channel 5. He did that. I don't see any hate in here. No, I don't see any hate. All right. Okay. At the same time, speculation about Mr. Ansell and his possible involvement in the disappearance began to appear on social media. He provided a version of events to the media that seemed to fuel further speculation. For example, he said he was 100% sure she was not in the river. Do you know why that was? That was when he was on Channel 5. Do you know why that was? One reason and one reason alone, Peter Faulding. In my opinion, I mean, of course, families are going to want to hang on to every hope that their missing loved one is still alive. And if they believe, like really convince themselves that there is a third party involved, or that somehow Nicola has gone into a dissociative fugue and has walked away, at something, anything, the possibility that she is still alive is still alive in their heads, right? So saying that she's in the river, they're going to close down on that. So the police hypothesis that the chances are she's in the river, now they didn't specify why. It was only at the inquest that we heard that it was most likely an accidental death. But at the time that she was missing and after she was found, they never specified why they thought she'd gone in the river. They just said they believed their working hypothesis, whilst not excluding other hypotheses, but their first and, foremost hypothesis, Occam's razor, the river's right there, Willow's right there, the harness and the lead and the phone are right there. So she's in the river, right? And it's got an embankment that's pretty slippery. It's like it's an artificial embankment, like part of the flood defense. And if you're not familiar with the area, you're not familiar with the footage, you can't remember any of the footage. I'm going to show you some of the footage once we get into Peter. There's an artificial embankment and the bench and the field kind of sits on top of it. And then there's the actual riverbank. And the riverbank, I would estimate, probably 10 to 12 feet from the top of the bank, like where the embankment ends, where it becomes like the natural bank, to the bottom of the river. I'd say probably maybe 12 feet. I don't know. I'm estimating. And it's a steep sheer drop down, right? But it just seems pretty... It's definitely Occam's razor. Definitely Occam's razor. But I never tried to contact any of the family or any of her friends, like Emma. I know Emma was talking to some YouTubers, and I didn't, because I'm not in the habit of contacting family members anyway. I will speak to family members if they want to speak to me, but I won't bother them. All right. But I made a special, I was absolutely adamant that however long this went on for, I was not going to contact anybody who knew Nicola, simply because all I could say is she's in the river. I know she's in the river. And they would say, how do you know she's in the river? And I would say, Occam's razor, but I know she's in that river. I know she is. And that is not what they wanted to hear. It's not what they lost faith in the police, I think, pretty early on, because they were listening to people like Peter Faulding, who was on the media saying that they were an expert, saying that the police weren't doing a good enough job, saying that the police technology wasn't good enough, blah, 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 and only he could find her. And they believed him. They believed him. Okay. There was some public commentary that he did not appear upset enough in broadcast and that he demonstrated bizarre behaviour in his interviews. Mr. Ansell, the wider family and friends of Nicola, including the family friend who acted as a community spokesperson, so that was Emma, were dealing with an exceptionally difficult and disorienting set of circumstances. The independent media and press activity undertaken by Mr. Ansell and this family friend, Emma, while clearly conducted to support the efforts to find Nicola, inadvertently added complexity. Just a minute, Kyle is wanting to speak. Yes, Kyle. You going to Eloise's? Yes. All right. Are you back tomorrow? Yes. All right. See ya. Okay. All right. Tell her that I'm doing Nicola Bulley. Yeah, I will. All right. Okay. So, what was I doing? Oh, yeah. Inadvertently added complexity to the investigation. I think it did, but I don't think they were wrong. I don't think Paul or Emma did anything wrong. I really don't. I think probably if the police had a more up-to-date, more modern social media strategist working with them, I think they could have helped them better navigate through the quagmire that is media. That is the media today. I think that was an issue. This could have been mitigated by conclusions previously made by the review, namely a quicker decision by Lancashire Constabulary with implementing an earlier and comprehensive, that's family liaison officer structure, and better family engagement from individuals with experience in media and communications. I agree completely. Now, I've not got anything negative to say about family liaison officers. I really don't. When my son was killed, my family had 2 family liaison officers. Shout out Graham and Steve. They were great. I met them on the day. One of them took me to identify the body. They helped me do the media press release. And they were there every step of the way, all the way up to sentencing. They were fantastic. They were brilliant. Graham was the kind of the lead, and then if Graham's days off or whatever, he ended up having an operation on his knee or something. Steve would take over, and then we got, while Graham was off, we even got another guy who came to the court with us on sentencing day. Absolutely fantastic. They are brilliant in dealing with people who are going through the criminal justice system after a criminal death. The reason why family liaison officers are there, and their main job, it's not the only reason they're there, but their main job is to navigate families through the criminal justice system when a member of their family has died. So if it's murder, manslaughter, a traffic event, as my son's was, that was a criminal act, they're automatically assigned. I mean, you could say no. You could say no, you don't want to speak to them. I mean, Graham even said, how often do you want me to call you? Do you want me to call you every day or once a week or when we've got updates? And I said, do you have any work today? Do you have any other cases on? I said, do you really need to speak to me every single day? Do you really need to put that in your diary for every single day? He's going, I will if you want me to. I said, listen, I said, just ring me when there's an update. All right. And he did. And he was brilliant. So I can't fault them. However, I don't know how quickly family liaison officers are assigned to families when it's a missing person, because it's not their job. So it probably needs to be, but there's so many missing people. There's so many people go missing, right? We looked at the figures last night that they couldn't possibly assign a family liaison officer to every single person who had a missing family member. They couldn't physically do it. There wouldn't be enough, because family liaison officers, they're doing their normal caseload. Like, the family liaison officers are working on the case. They're detectives on the case. But their family liaison training is in addition to their normal police duties. So they couldn't possibly assign family liaison officers to every single missing person, given that there's so many of them, and given that the vast majority of people who go missing come home alive and well. I think they need to look at it. Obviously, they were assigned eventually, but I don't know whether they were assigned once Nicola's body had been found. And it wasn't a crime. It wasn't a criminal investigation, although they were looking at possible criminal elements. So I think it's fair to say that it's not Lancashire Constabulary's fault. It's UK policing that need to look at how they use the family liaison officer structure more effectively when there's a case like this where it's a high risk missing person. Anyway, Peter Faulding. That's just my opinion, just my views based on my experience. All right, let's get to the man himself. Let's not keep him waiting any longer. All right, Peter Faulding. Boom. Even his face annoys me. He's got that kind of slappable face. I'm glad he doesn't live round here. I'm glad I don't like bump into him or anything. All right. Mr. Faulding is the founder and chief executive of SGI, with their website describing their services as a world leader in the fields of specialist rescue, underwater search, forensic search, and protester removal. What? Protester removal? Is that like pest control? What did they do? Did they like go and strong arm like people protesting on a street corner? I mean, I've no idea. I didn't even know that was on their website. I mean, do they need to use sonar for that? I mean, what? Oh, dear. The actions of Mr. Faulding during the investigation were raised with the review by Lancashire Constabulary on several occasions. At the time of Nicola's disappearance, Mr. Faulding was listed on the Experts Advisors database maintained by the National Crime Agency and had previously conducted search and dive activities with several other police forces in the UK. And didn't we know about it? Didn't we know that how much of an expert he was? How he could find a person in a lake in like 2 minutes? But yet couldn't understand how rivers work. He just didn't understand how rivers work, bless him. All right. And people who came to me saying, Michelle, he's the expert. You don't know anything. Listen, I know how rivers work. His company was recommended to join the database in 2008. He's not there now, but we'll get into that. Experts can be requested for listing on the database by law enforcement staff nationally to support investigations and provide specialist knowledge to forces if required. All right, so, you know, he looks like he's got the credentials. He removed Swampy. Did he? Really? Oh, what was wrong with Swampy? Was he the guy at Manchester? Was that Swampy? At the runway, the Manchester runway, and the trees? Was that Swampy? That's years ago. Swampy should have, I don't know, drowned him. No, I shouldn't say that. That's scratch that. Scratch that, given the circumstances. All right. Okay. In this case, Lancashire Constabulary did not make a request to use the services of SGI, nor was SGI recommended by the NCA, National Crime Agency. Swampy's a legend. Yeah, he is. He is. Swampy. He mentioned it on every TV appearance. Honestly, didn't watch him. I maybe watched one. Amy. Yes, I am really classy. You're not. Piss off. Right, let's get rid of you. You're on a timeout. You're on the naughty step, Amy. I can even now decide how long to put you on the naughty step for. I could put you on like Super Nanny. Do you know who Super Nanny is? Well, I love Super Nanny. And I'll put you on the naughty step for a minute per year of your age, which is 5. So I'm going to say 5 minutes. You're on timeout for 5 minutes, Amy. Amy, when you come back, behave yourself and you got to apologise, or what happens next? What happens if you don't behave after you come off the naughty step? You go back on. Or in my chat, you get completely banned. All right, let's carry on. Okay, on the 3rd of February, prior to any attendance at the location of Nicola's disappearance or contact with Lancashire Constabulary, Mr. Faulding was interviewed by Sky News. He provided comment on aspects of the scene of Nicola's disappearance, even though he'd never been there. Who's Swampy? He's the dude who protested at Manchester Airport years ago. They were doing a new runway and they were having to chop down trees and shit. And they didn't need a new runway. They could have handled the runways they had. They didn't need a new runway. I was all for Swampy. Swampy was great. So it's another reason to dislike Peter Faulding. Free Amy. Free Amy. Amy can come back after 5 minutes when she's done her time on the naughty step. She just needs to apologise and she'll get a kiss and a hug and she'll be fine. She does it again, she's banned. All right, yeah. So he'd never been there, but yet sounded all very authoritative on Sky News. All right. It appears, and I'm not on the scene, that there isn't any marks where Nicola fell down into the river, so it's a bit odd. Well, the reason why there was no marks was because it's a sheer goddamn drop down. There's no frigging marks when you drop down a 10-foot flaming bank, you absolute clown. All right, we're going to listen to this. Sky News, 3rd of February. All right. Okay. Nicola Bulley's, what's this nonsense? I've not even been on eBay for years. How do you get rid of these adverts? Right. Nicola Bulley's case is an odd one, says forensic expert. Okay, let's listen to him here. Okay, let me know you can hear this all right. Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. Oh, there he is again. Look, we're going to watch him. We're going to watch him on Sky News again in a minute. Well, after we've done chapter 5. Where on earth is it now? I've got too many windows open. There it is, right there. Okay. Okay. All right. That was Sky News on the 3rd of February. So he just assumed that when people fall in rivers, they're going after dogs. Oh dear. Anyway, on the 5th of February, which was a Sunday, how do I know? Oh, there was no sound. Oh no. Okay. All right. That was weird. I could hear it. I could hear it. All right. We'll play it again. It's only like a minute long. All right. Let me know you can hear this. Let me faff about with my audio settings here. Audio, speaker, mic. Weird. All right. All right. Should be all right. Right. Let me know that you can hear this. Can you hear this? Can you hear that? Can you hear that now? No? All right. Weird. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll share it this way. Share it this way. Okay. Let me know if you can hear it now.
Identify
Can you hear it now?
Match power with precision. Reach new heights. CME Group, where risk meets opportunity.
Hear it now. Yay! Can you hear me laughing? Oh, sorry. Right, can you hear it now? Okay, that's good. Okay. All right.
Yeah, this is a very strange one. I mean, I'm looking at this. I've worked on hundreds of cases, and this is a really odd one. I mean, the phone being found on a bench. Normally, if someone would trip, they would have their phone in their hand. You know, the dog being dry. People go in after dogs. This is why a lot of people drown. They jump in after their dogs, but the dog was found dry, so it clearly didn't go in the river. And that's what gets my suspicion about this case. It's a very, very odd one. And it appears, and I'm not on the scene, that there isn't any marks where she fell in, Nicola fell in down into the river. So it's a bit odd. And again, the dog harness was left on the side where normally the dog was seen wearing the harness. So you know, I don't actually know. It's very strange case, this one.
Yeah. Okay. Very strange case, that one. Very strange case. Oh, what's it doing now? Oh, it's putting a new flaming advert. All right. Okay. I'm gonna go back to the document here. Just a second. Okay. So he assumed that if Nicola was in the river, she'd have gone in after Willow. Assumption number one. He assumed that there'd be footmarks. How can there be footmarks when there's a 10-foot sheer drop? No. No. What else did he assume? Oh, yeah. That Willow was seen with her harness on. No. Willow had her harness taken off when she was in the field. So lots of assumptions. But early on in the case, she went missing on the 27th. So we're a week in. All right. So it's Friday the 27th. This would have been Friday the 3rd of February. All right. So tip number one to Peter, don't go on national media trying to sound like an expert when you know F all about the situation, or else you end up looking stupid. Just a little bit of media training for you there. I should talk to the press, my job, and media training 101. Don't try to be an expert in things that you do not know. All right? Don't guess. If they ask you a question you don't know, say you don't know. Okay. All right, go. That's a really interesting question. I'm going to get one of my researchers onto that immediately. Can I let you know? Do you have a contact email? You know, deflection. All right. Okay, so 5th of February. That was a Sunday. Mr. Faulding appeared again in the media, where he referenced the ability of his team and equipment and the greater search and dive expertise it provided in comparison with that used by the police. He stated that he police's equipment. Typo. All right. Okay. That the police's equipment was low tech, adding that it's very unlikely they will be able to find a body with it. Oh, Amy needs to disappear. All right. Where is she? All right. Amy, piss off. Boom. You're gone. Amy, you died. Amy, you're dead. Bye. Bye, Amy. Bye, Amy. Is Amy Peter's Sunday name? Is that your drag name, Peter? Is that what your Sunday name is? Yeah. Any more Amy's coming to the chat? Just let me know. Right, we're on a hold on, I've just dropped something on the floor. Pen. Yeah, well, I've said, listen, we have zero tolerance here. Go and watch Super Nanny. Zero tolerance. People just need discipline. Naughty step works wonders. Naughty step. Okay, all right. So how did he know what equipment the police had? Okay. So this was the Sun. Oh, the very best media he's harnessing here. Nicola Bulley bombshell, forensic expert, Brand's investigation a mess, and says crucial evidence may have been missed. All right, so this is the Sun. Don't read the Sun, guys. The Sun's a rag. It's an absolute shit storm of a rag. All right, forensic expert dropped a bombshell. Yeah, okay. So what did he say? Okay. Where is he? Oh, I don't even care. I don't even care where he is, because that's the Sun. All right. So that was Sunday, the 5th of February. Enter Peter going there, though, on the 6th of February. Okay. Nicola's family became aware of this, and efforts were made through Nicola's family friend to contact SGI and secure their services. Nicola's family then contacted the investigation team and asked them to involve Mr. Faulding and SGI in the search for Nicola. So this went down on the afternoon, on the Sunday afternoon. I remember it all going down on Twitter. The Lancashire police had said that SGI can't come and they don't want them there, and there's something funny about that, and surely they want as much help as they can, and Peter is the expert in all of this. Oh yeah, it all went down. Okay, so stressing the importance of following this lead and opportunity. Also on the 5th of February, Mr. Faulding claimed that my belief is she's not in the river at all. Now, bear in mind, he's not been there. He's making a ton of assumptions. He doesn't know anything about the case. Nicola Bulley, latest, top forensic scientist. Oh, he's a forensic scientist now. All right. He's a forensic scientist now. Rubbish is foolish police theory. She is not in that river. Okay. So that was the 5th of February on GB News. Okay. I'm not going to subject you to GB News, but I think you can believe me that, yeah, it was terrible. All right. So it was all over GB News, all over them. As the deployment of a commercial dive team was outside normal practice, the SIO, so the Senior Investigative Officer, consulted with the National Search Lead and confirmed that the police search and dive team's capability, capacity, and equipment were suitable for the search. So this was Sunday afternoon. The National Search Lead advised that Mr. Faulding and SGI did not have any greater equipment than could be secured through police channels. So the Lancashire, that is the police search person, police search lead on the case, was instructed to contact Mr. Faulding to identify what could be offered by his company once appraised of what had been conducted to date. Okay. There followed communication by Nicola's family friend. So that was Emma. I think it was Emma. Correct me if I'm wrong, if it was somebody else. Okay, so there followed communication by Nicola's family friend to the family liaison officers expressing a strong message that a refusal to use Mr. Faulding and SGI that day, 5th of February, would result in a negative press release to the media. That's bad. That is bad. I didn't know that. I didn't know she'd done that. So basically, if you don't let Peter come, we're going to say negative things in the media about you. Okay, that's bad. But they did have family liaison officers at the time. So this was the 5th. So family liaison officers were supporting the family. Okay. Lancashire Constabulary felt that this would undermine public trust and confidence, and therefore subsequently agreed to allow the use of SGI to support them in their search efforts to locate Nicola, and contacted Mr. Faulding that day. So we're still on the 5th. So yeah, I remember by the end of the 5th, it was all SGI are coming now. Lancashire police have backed down, blah, 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 blah. All right. Okay. Mr. Faulding offered his services free of charge to the family. Yeah. Did I mention his new book that had just come out a few days before? His new book had come out. I advertised it for him on a live stream and everything. Wonder how many copies he sold. To ensure appropriate management of SGI, and their associated dive and search activity by Lancashire Constabulary, an email was sent by the search lead to Mr. Faulding on the 5th of February. It stated, "We agreed in the importance of utilising your assets in conjunction with the ongoing search operation, and as such, direction will come through the police search advisor. We also discussed and agreed that all operational information will be treated as confidential, and that any operational information passed to the media will be done through police channels." So that's perfectly normal. You don't want rogues. You don't want rogues going off, doing their own thing, right? You know, they're already leery of this guy because he's been through the media talking shit already, saying that she's not in the river. So they're already leery. They just want to minimize any negative press. In my opinion, they shouldn't have backed down. In my opinion, let Emma talk shit on the media. I would. But anyway, the requirement for this is to manage media releases to mitigate, where possible, undue distress to the family. The closing line of the email read, "I cannot stress the need for discretion enough due to the massive news coverage this inquiry has and continues to attract." Now that's clear enough, isn't it? It's clear enough, isn't it? All right, okay. Mr. Faulding was referenced during the Gold Group meeting. What's the Gold Group? I don't know. It must be like senior police meeting. I don't know. Minutes. Okay, so Mr. Faulding was referenced during the Gold Group meeting minutes on the 6th of February. Thank you, Julie, for the £5. Thank you, thank you. I felt that I was losing my sanity at one point. But I did try. I tried hard, but thank you so much, Julie. All right. Okay. Where is activities required operational discussion and direction? I went there on the 6th and they were there. I'm going to show you some footage. Okay. On the 6th of February, an action was raised to ensure a confidentiality agreement, code of conduct and indemnity documentation were to be secured from him. Okay. During this Gold Group meeting, there was an update that the SGI team had agreed that if they identify a find during their searches, they would not engage in a forensic recovery, given that the responsibility for this lies with the police trained specialists. Absolutely, because if there is a criminal element, what happens? When you've got every Tom, Dick and Harriet going in searching, right? You've got to have chain of custody. We're having this discussion in the Delphi case at the moment with the bullet or the unspent round, not having a chain of custody. This is crucial that if there was a criminal element, like, you know, if they had found her in the river and she'd had her head bashed in or something like that, and it was obvious that she'd got stab wounds or a gunshot wound or something, and you get Peter Faulding hoiking her out, you've got a problem. All right, so this is standard stuff that if they identify a find, you call the search lead. Okay, all right. Mr. Faulding also agreed that any communications would only take place with Lancashire Constabulary to manage associated messages to the family. A chief inspector was given the action to undertake a meeting with Mr. Faulding to secure the necessary signing of the relevant documentation, and an action was raised at the next Gold Group meeting. Following day for this to be securely retained. So this was the 6th. SGI were there on the 6th. I saw them. They were there on the 6th. I'd assumed that they'd started work on the 6th. I'll show you footage in a minute. It's recorded in the daily search strategy that SGI were deployed to assist the search team on the 6th of February under the supervision and direction of the search lead. On this date, Mr. Faulding received an in-person briefing on the rules of his engagement with the investigation and search, as well as the associated necessity for confidentiality. So he arrived in the Northwest and met with the police on the 6th. They were there at the river on the 6th. I know damn well they were. To support this, a confidentiality agreement, non-disclosure agreement, NDA, was drawn up with the assistance of the head of legal services for Lancashire Constabulary. This incorporated the following agreement. I, Peter Faulding, and SGI employees have been told, and I agree, that under no circumstances will I discuss any aspect of this case with any person other than the investigation team. Cassie was sniffing Peter's group. She was. She totally was. Oh dear. Is that clear? Is that clear? And he signed it. The document was provided to Mr. Faulding by a chief inspector on the evening of the 6th of February, following his arrival at the scene. The chief inspector recalls that an explanation was provided to Mr. Faulding that it was an NDA and that highlighted he should not share any information with anyone. This was signed at 18:01, so 6 o'clock. I, Peter Faulding, and SGI employees have been told, and I agree, that under no circumstances will I discuss any aspect of this case with any person other than the investigation team. That's clear, isn't it? That's clear. Yeah, that's clear. SGI provided a written response to the review team. So this review team, so this is now kind of months later. All right. Of their understanding of the NDA provided to him and stated, Peter did not sign an NDA either before or on the day. He was asked to sign a piece of paper which he was not provided a copy of. Now, they should have given a copy of it. All right. That's true. As we recall, it set out SGI's responsibilities insofar as risk assessment, health and safety issues, etc. This missive was not set out as an NDA. So if this is true, okay, I, Peter Faulding, and SGI employees have been told, and I agree, that under no circumstances will I discuss any aspect of this case with any person other than the investigation team. So if he signed that, at 6 p.m. on the 6th, how can he say that he didn't sign that? The confidentiality agreement contained no references to risk or health and safety, as recalled by Mr. Faulding, but instead contained a short paragraph providing an indemnity for Lancashire Constabulary against any costs or claims associated from their involvement in the search, so insurance stuff. There was also 8 points outlining the different information and confidentiality specifications required by Lancashire Constabulary. It would appear that Mr. Faulding was not provided with a copy, which seems to be an omission given the nature of the incident. Yeah, he should have been given a copy. He should have signed 2 copies, one for him and one for them. All right. Okay. Mr. Faulding continued to engage with the media between the 6th of February and the 8th of February, providing his views and opinions on Nicola's disappearance. On the 6th of February, in the Times newspaper, Mr. Faulding repeated a similar theory to one provided on the 5th of February, claiming that he would be able to find Nicola within 3 days if she was in the river. Nicola Bulley, if missing mother is in river, we'll find her soon, says the expert. I'll click on this, but I know the Times is got a makes you pay stuff, and I will not pay the Times. Continue reading. No, you're all right. You're all right, you Tory rag. All right, okay. All right, let's look at some footage, shall we? Let's look at some footage. Let's look at some footage here. All right. Just a second, or else you're not going to be able to hear anything. All right. Let me reshare in a minute. Just give me a second. I've just got to find it. Because I was playing it earlier. Oh, I listened to a lot of videos today. I listened to loads of Nicola Bulley videos today. Okay. I'm doing all right. Share screen. All right. Okay. See that van? See that? See that red van there? That's the SGI search van. It's parked at Penny's. All right. Now I'm going to. This is the 6th of February. All right. I can prove. I'm going to have to. Oh, this is annoying. All right. I'm going to have to come out of that in a minute. It's annoying when you're playing all different kinds of media. It's annoying. Okay. I'm going to prove to you though that this footage was taken on the 6th of February. Because I always bring receipts, guys. I always bring receipts. Okay, entire screen. StreamYard need to sort this out. All right. Scenery footage, 6th of February. Okay, so these are the files that I took on the 6th. All right, so which one is it? Oh, what's that doing in there? That's Cassie in the field near me. That shouldn't be in there. Okay. You can tell I've not looked at these files for like months, can't you? Here it is. Here it is. This file right here. All right. I'm going to skim through it because I can play you. I'll play you the. There, look. There. Can you see what it says? I don't think I can zoom in, but it says SGI on there. Right, okay. I can't zoom in doing it this way, which is annoying. Why is it frozen? Oh, there we go. Right, won't let me zoom in. Okay, but that's SGI's van. All right. So that was the info. That was taken at. Can you see that? I know it's very small. I can't zoom in on this. Monday, 6th of February, 2023 at 3:30 in the afternoon. Can you see that right there? That's when that was taken. Where's my husky? Oh, my husky's asleep in Ireland. Husband Pat would have known about the tides. There we go. Monday, 6th of February at 15:30. 3:30. All right, let's look at this one. Okay, so 6th of February at 14:56. So this is the footage from the 6th of February. This is just the raw footage. I'm going to show you the actual footage. Oh, look, that's a good shot. Look at that. Look at this. It's not Peter. It's Peter's mate. Peter's mate was holding court to a bunch of interested people who'd been searching. All right. And media. There was, what was it? I can't remember what, and it wasn't BBC. I think it might have been the Mirror. But there was a bunch of media people there. So they were media. And then people kept coming like, listening like me. So Peter's mate's there holding court in the middle of the path. I've left my accent back in Ireland. I know. As soon as I get off the plane, my Irish just kicks in. Just kicks in. I don't know. It must be something to do with the Emerald Isle. It just kicks in. As soon as I touch down there on Dublin, I like Dublin. Not that I really like Dublin. As a city, it's all right. Cassie listened as well. Yeah, we're going to listen. We're going to listen to it because the sound's pretty poor. So we're going to listen to it. Oh, I'm going to have to. Okay. This is so annoying. StreamYard need to sort this out. All right, we're going to listen to it from this. Okay. All right. So this is a private video. Okay. So this is a private video. I can zoom in now. This is a private video that I just took the clip of SGI. Oh, thank you, Nikki. A goal group is a strategic forum of appropriately skilled or qualified stakeholders which can inform the effective and successful management of the incident. Oh, okay. All right. I always wondered if this group of people noticed Cassie looking just like Willow. Cassie's very white compared to Willow. Willow's a very heavily marked spaniel. Okay. So I clipped 4 minutes of this conversation because I couldn't hear it properly. And because you've got the sound of the river, because it's very near the weir, this area, you've got sheep doing bar, 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 bar constantly. So I tried to tone down the background noise so that the voices, I could hear them better. And I didn't do a very good job, but it's slightly better. And I've got a few more of the words. So he was there when I walked past and I overheard a snippet of a conversation. So I turned round and went back to listen for more. All right. So it's one of Peter's colleagues. So we're going to listen to this. Now, the sound is really poor. If I can't turn it up anymore, or else it's going to blast your ears with the sound of the river. But there's a little bit of me talking on it as well. So let's play this.
Peter said it would be very far. Peter said it would be very far. Peter said it would be very far.
So Peter said, I'll put my CCs on.
Peter said it would be very far. So she would have cleared the weir then.
So she would have cleared the weir then. Did you hear that? So she would have cleared the weir then. So they were in mid-conversation as I was walking past. Okay. And one of the reporters asked for clarification and said, so she cleared the weir then. Listen again. This is why I went back to listen. Listen carefully.
Peter said it would be very far. So she would have cleared the weir then.
So you think she would have cleared the weir then? You heard that right? I think what I could gather, Peter said, so Peter the expert said she's cleared the weir, and it's about 3 meters deep wherever it is that they are at the moment. So that's what I overheard. That's why I turned around and went back to listen. So the weir's right there. So the male reporter with the camera said, "So you think she cleared the weir then?" And I didn't hear him say something about it being 3 meters until I went back and listened to the raw footage. And I've kind of cut it off a little bit, but that it's 3 meters at the bench. I assume he meant it's 3 meters at the bench, because it turns out that it was in the middle where the bench is. It was about 15 feet, 14, 15 feet. It's very beautiful, Holly. It really is. This was the 6th of February. So I messed around a little bit here, like pretending that I was, I don't know, doing something. And then I went back and the conversation I heard, I could hear less. So I was really annoyed with myself, because I was holding the phone down because I didn't want him to see me recording him, because I knew that I might use this. I knew that I might use this in future, because Peter had already got my backup. Okay. And I thought, I don't want to see SGI I don't want to see SGI. No, that doesn't make sense. I don't want SGI to see me recording. I don't know why. I just thought, so I was holding the phone down. If the other reporters had microphones, I would have gone and just pretended to be a reporter. All right. But I didn't, because I'm not brazen like that. Like JLR would have gone and stuck his phone right in his face, wouldn't he? But anyway, I did get some snippets of the conversation as to where they'd been that morning, because they came down, like, as soon as they got the green light. Now, bear in mind, they're in the south of England. They're like, I don't know how many miles away. Sussex is right down the bottom. So they travelled up, like, through the night with their equipment and got there on the 6th. So they were already on the scene before Peter met with that chief inspector to sign the NDA. Okay. That's what I could glean from that conversation. Definitely not going in that. I was muted then, sorry. You can still hear him talking in the background, so this is when I went back. Okay, so I walked back. All right. Come on. Right, we'll go on now. Dog in pajamas there. Cass.
In this bit, it's a bit more likely it's in this bit than it is in the other bit. It may be that we then get tasked with this time to reverse those roles, and then high frequency beyond bit down to
Okay. So it may be. Now, I did hear him saying I don't think it's caught. Now, remember, I did try to clean up this audio. So his voice is slightly clearer than it was on the raw footage, but not a whole lot. It was the river. I just couldn't tune out the river. I'm not an audio expert. I've got that program, what's it called? Audacity or something. But I'm not an audio expert by any, I'm basically trial and error. Right? So if there is any audio experts out there who think that they can tune out the river and get the voice better. I mean, he didn't say a whole lot. He didn't say anything that was mega, like, dead interesting. But if there is, I'll send you the file and you can have a go. I mean, I'm happy to. So he said, okay. Cassie probably heard a lot more. Like, dog's hearing is what, 4 or 5 times better than ours. So Cassie's probably got all this stored in her head. She'd have heard it perfectly clearly. She's just not saying it. She's just not telling me. She's holding it back, for whatever reason. Okay.
The other bit. It may be that we then get tasked with this time to reverse those roles.
So reverse those. I've played this so many times.
We then get tasked with this time to reverse those roles, and then high frequency beyond it down to
and high frequency beyond something.
Again, discussing the cost. We did a walk around this morning.
So there we go. We did a walk round this morning. They were on that scene in the morning. You drive from Wigan to Exeter in 5 to 6 hours. It's 240 miles. Tom. I know Peter's in Sussex. So I'll do Wigan. I'll do Wigan bus station to Sussex. Give me a town in Sussex. Brighton's in Sussex, isn't it? Brighton. I'm not going to walk there. It's giving me a walking route. Okay. Sussex is right down here at the bottom. So Devon's here. So Wigan to Devon is 240. So what's this? 263 miles, 4.5 hours from Brighton. But Brighton's right on the coast. So they might not be right on the coast. But say 250 miles. If only dogs could talk. I know. It's annoying. Okay. So they did a walk round this morning. And presumably that's when Peter had decided that she cleared the weir. Okay.
We had, obviously, I've had that's at home. To do this, thinking all I've got to me is what you guys are saying in the news, what the dreaded social media is saying.
So I've only got what people are saying in the news and what social media is saying.
You miss it, you get the local person that actually fishes here, they've got all this life and knows what gets where. We walked around that, we looked at the upstream bit and different theories that we concocted, however abstract they may be.
So we looked at the upstream bit and concocted theories. They just concocted some theories looking upstream. Okay, so they concocted some theories that morning going upstream.
Based on all sorts.
Based on all sorts.
Yeah. I found the phone. It's bound to be a dog walker.
So something about the dog and the phone, and then he just like shrugs.
It is, but I understand, you know, this particular.
So I went then. The cops were coming. I don't know why I always feel that I need to vacate the scene when the cops arrive. Right, come on. We're going home now. Keep walking. I've not done anything wrong. I just always feel I need to vacate when the cops are coming. Come on, quick. Keep walking. Good girl.
Really do say that.
I don't know how much you got of that, but they've done a walk around this morning. Something about more likely should be in this bit than, well, this area than further down. I don't know. I'm going to have to review what he said. Okay. So that's what Peter's colleague said on the 6th of February around 3:30. Okay. So keep that in mind for the next bit that we're going to talk about. And I am going to just remind you that that very file, this file right here, so I can, this is just the raw footage, so I can go right the way to prove to you that that's the exact conversation. Cassie getting involved. It's the exact conversation. Okay. And that was getting for 6th of February at 3:30. Okay. All right. Get the document back now. Where's the document? Oh, too many things open. Where's the map? Where's the document gone? Got too many things. Oh, it's right down there. Oh, for God's sake. Okay. All right. In the Gold Group meeting on the 7th of February, so now Tuesday, an action was raised for the Chief Inspector Silver to meet with Mr. Faulding to offer suitable, robust advice about the information he's passing to the media, unhelpful to the investigation, the family and wider community. This action was undertaken and discharged. So they spoke to him, so he signed the NDA on 6 o'clock on the 6th. And the Chief Inspector met with him again on the 7th to say it's unhelpful. The things you're saying in the media are unhelpful. So presumably that conversation was, please stop. If you want to help us, please stop. Okay. On the 8th of February, an action was raised for holding a press statement to be devised to counter any misleading or false statements made by Mr. Faulding within the media. And this was to be reviewed by a Gold Commander. So I don't remember that was ever done. On the 9th of February, there was a discussion about Mr. Faulding where a further action was raised regarding his activities in relation to his engagement with the family. I mean, he was just, we didn't know any of this, did we? We didn't know what the police were dealing with behind the scenes. We didn't know any of this. He had also requested a photo opportunity to take place at the scene with a member of the chief officer seat. All he wanted, listen, all he wanted was a photo opportunity with the cops, which was declined. So he wanted the family and himself and the chief inspector or whoever, and they said no. They said no. So he was there on the Wednesday, because they left on the Wednesday, so the Wednesday would have been the 8th. 15 minutes of fame, absolutely. Absolutely. It is disgusting. It really is. It really is disgusting. He did, because I remember talking about it in a video. There was a picture of Peter and Paul Ansell stood right on the riverbank near the bench, like looking over, like looking dead concerned, looking over. That was his photo opportunity. And they left after that. They left on the 8th. I know for a fact they left on the 8th. The review team asked SGI to explain why Mr. Faulding, so the review team is the people writing this report, asked SGI to explain why Mr. Faulding sought to engage the media and discuss the investigation, given the direction in the NDA that the investigation and case is not to be discussed with any party not involved in the investigation. SGI responded that there was no official NDA discussed or signed for. The police failed to engage with SGI about any press statements. Exactly. The media opportunity would have sold some books. Exactly. And people said to me, Michelle is an expert. He's not there just to sell books. I didn't say he was. All I said was that he had a new book out. Oh, that's all I said. Okay. Peter and team were ambushed by the press. Okay, I'm going to show you that file again. Does this look like an ambush to you? Does this look like an ambush to you? Okay, so Peter and his team were ambushed by the press. This is an ambush. This right here is an ambush. That's an ambush. That's an ambush. Looks very ambushed, doesn't he? Looks like he hates every minute of being there. Yeah, that's the press ambushing his team. That happened. That happened right in front of my eyes. Right in front of my eyes. There you go. Had no support from the police or any feedback after making media statements, and therefore he assumed his press engagements were within the terms of engagement. Okay. They need to sue the bastard. They need to sue him. Sorry if you've got little ears in the room. They need to sue him, honestly. In addition to his continued media presence, Lancashire Constabulary presented examples of when Mr. Faulding operated outside of the terms of engagement with the search direction. This included an incident on the 8th of February where he was observed digging with a spade in woodland near the river. I didn't know that. So the 8th of February was the Wednesday. That was when they left. So he was digging the woodland up. He was digging up the woodland near the river. What? No way. That's someone's land. That's someone's land. I mean, yeah, there's public rights of way all across it. But you can't start digging stuff up on people's land. This search activity had not been sanctioned by the search lead. No shit, Sherlock. And Mr. Faulding had not undertaken any forensic precautions to ensure the safe recovery of forensic evidence. I thought he was a forensic scientist. I thought he would have had his, his white suit on and his gloves. I thought he'd have had a mask on as well. I thought he'd have done all of that, but no. Yeah, what a knob. Exactly. Exactly. This is what was going on behind the scenes. This activity fell outside of the agreed terms of engagement, where any forensic recovery should not be undertaken. When challenged at the time by the police, They should have arrested him. What's become of Sweet Willow? Well, presumably she's still with the family. Presumably she still lives with Paul. Okay. They should have arrested him. I don't know what they could have arrested him for, but they should have arrested him for, I don't know. Think of a reason they could have arrested him. Criminal damage. Criminal damage. Okay. Just held him for 24 hours, just piss him off. All right. Mr. Faulding stated that he believed this to be an area of recently disturbed earth, indicating a possible deposition site. So instead of doing what all the volunteer searchers who were out there, including me, I did some searching as well on the 6th. What you do if you're a volunteer searcher is you do not touch anything. You certainly don't start digging up anything. But if you see anything suspicious, what do? You contact the cops. You contact a member of the team who were there. There were cops around and about. They were like, Penny's front yard was like, the cops were coming and going, like Penny was allowing them all to kind of go there. If I'd have seen something that I thought was suspicious, I would have gone to Penny's, found a cop and told them. Okay. This location had previously been searched and eliminated as part of the initial police search response on the 27th of January. So the very day that Nicola disappeared, they found that, looked at it, realised it was nothing. Following this assertion, it was reassessed by the search lead, who comprehensively documented why they considered the area had not been recently disturbed. But obviously Peter knew better. Okay, so it wasn't recently disturbed earth. It was just earth. Unauthorized digging. Yeah, well, something. All right. Mr. Faulding had also informed the family that he thought he'd identified a body deposition site. No way. I can't believe he did that. That is sick. I'm reading this for the first time. That is sick. He actually told the family he thought he'd found the body site. No way. As part of this review, so the people writing this review, Lancashire Constabulary suggested that this had caused unwarranted distress, no shit, and false alarm. Lancashire Constabulary also stated that the activity of Mr. Faulding resulted in the diversion of police resources to the family to remedy the situation. It's the view of Lancashire Constabulary that Mr. Faulding had a significant impact on the investigation, and not in a good way, and public confidence through his activities and in his engagement with the media. Yeah, wanted to promote himself as an expert. He was one of the main reasons why Paul believed that she wasn't in the river. Why the media were hanging on his every word, while social media were hanging on his every word. He was ripping up like a complete frenzy of people with all these theories, when actually the case was the most straightforward case I've ever studied on my channels. It honestly is. Honestly is. Very straightforward. He was a major reason, in my opinion, why the media went berserk over it. The review team considers that some of his actions created a more challenging environment for the investigation team. His public statements often contradicted the investigative and operational approach, leading to confusion for the public and reducing the family's trust in the investigation and search operations. Within the media, there was 12,355 articles or broadcasts referring to Mr. Faulding from the 3rd of February, reflecting the interest that his public comments created. So look how much look at me he was able to do in those few days in the week that his new book came out. Okay. Some social media commentators referred to his comments as evidence for their alternative explanations for Nicola's disappearance. Mr. Faulding made several statements to the media that were later found at odds with the inquest findings. So we've got, my belief she's not in the river. Top forensic scientist rubbishes foolish police theory. GB News 5th of February. My opinion is, had Nicola gone in by that bench, she would have gone to the bottom and drifted a couple of meters because he doesn't understand how rivers work. So again, this was GB News on the 8th. Nicola Bulley diver ends search, but insists missing mum did not fall in river as he shows her partner new evidence. What new evidence? What new evidence did he show Paul? So he'd been told to stop digging. The new evidence he thought he'd found was a flaming body in the woods. If Nicola is in there, we'll find her. If she's there, our sonar will pick her up straight away. Expert dive squad say if missing Nicola Bulley is in river, we'll find her in minutes. And that was on the 6th of February because the Daily Mirror were there on the 6th of February. They were doing filming and stuff down near the weir. And then they moved, probably because they realised it was too noisy. I don't know what they were doing down there, but they were there when I got there. There was the Mirror. I'm trying to think because they were all parked in the car park at the Grapes. There's BBC was there. ITV was there. There was a whole bunch of media people there at the Grapes. Okay. Sadly, the discovery was not found in the river, but in the reeds at the side of the river. So this was when Nicola was found, 20th. She was found on the 19th, I think, if I remember rightly. Sadly, the discovery was not found in the river. So I can't even say Nicola. Has to call her the discovery. Can't even give her a name. Was not found in the river, but in the reeds at the side of the river, which was not part of our remit, as the side scan sonar does not penetrate reeds above or below the water. An update from Peter Faulding, SGI Facebook page on the 20th. Guys, there's no effing reeds at the place where Nicola was found. The inquest finding shows that Nicola was found in the river. She was found some distance from where she fell in, about a mile. She was not found by sonar equipment, and she was not found in reeds. Let's go to my footage. Okay, so on the 2nd of May, I went to the tree. That's not it. Please hold. It's that one. Okay, so that's the tree. That's where Nicola was found. Okay, so let's walk back. So you can see no reeds on that side. Okay, so the chances are if there's no reeds on that side, there's going to be no reeds on this side. No reeds here. Okay, it's a straight down, no reeds. Okay, so when I pan the camera around in a minute, oh, that zoomed in. Okay, I'll look back in a minute. Okay, look. No reeds. No reeds. The river is, once it comes, this is kind of leading away from St. Michael's, the river goes through like a long and straight stretch with a few little bends in it, and it's just very gentle. It's weird because just upstream of the bench, there's the confluence where the river Brock joins the River Wyre, so it increases the water volume, so it's pretty turbulent. And then once it gets to past the weir, and then under the bridge and along this stretch going out of St. Michael's, it kind of narrows somewhat, and it's very gentle, just a gentle flow, but it is tidal. And then I think it's after Cartmel Bridge that it starts to really widen out again. Look at that shot there. Look. No reeds. No reeds. Can you see any reeds? Can you see any reeds? Can anybody see any reeds? No. No reeds. No reeds. People didn't believe me when I said there was no reeds. I don't know what your definition of reeds are. Nicola was found right there in the river, not in the reeds. Okay. And where did Peter search? He drove straight by in his boat with his fancy sonar. Okay. All right. Okay. Lancashire Constabulary also shared concerns with the review that Mr. Faulding had behaved insensitively towards the family at an extraordinarily difficult time. Absolutely, he so did. It was assessed by Lancashire Constabulary that he used his conversations with the family to provide quotes to the media, and that he influenced the family into believing Nicola had not entered the river and that a third party was involved. There's more growth there. Yeah, that was May. Yeah. That was May. Right, in February, right, end of January, February, that would have been, yeah. Look, there's no reeds. There's no reeds along the entire, I walked from the tree where Nicola was found all the way back to the bench. There's no reeds anywhere. No reeds anywhere. It's just not a reedy kind of place. Okay. Mr. Faulding provided information to the review. His view was that he had no official information in his possession to disclose to the media. He explained that he provided press statements and interviews because he was hounded by the media. Hounded! He was hounded! Hounded by them. Was forced onto GB News. He was forced. Didn't look very forced to me. Not that I watched him on GB News, but doesn't look very forced. And he was talking to Sky News, did he? No. It was his view that there was no control over the media or official press area, and this differed to other police operations he had previously been involved with. Okay. He stated that he was not advised or supported with any media guidance by Lancashire Constabulary. Well, he probably has a point. They probably could have done better with the media. There wasn't official command centre. Informally, Penny's front yard was the command centre. That's where kind of the police were hanging out. But it kind of wasn't really clear. And then all the media people were hanging out at the Grapes around the corner, the pub. That's where all the vans were and all that stuff. So, but the thing is, it's a very awkward area. They probably could have signposted people better, maybe, but they were in the middle of a search, right? They were in the middle of a search. I don't know. He did not receive any instruction not to engage with the media. That's point blank not true. Not true. And he would have stopped if he'd been directed to. Okay, all right. During the review, Mr. Faulding disclosed what he considered to be a credible find during a search conducted on the 7th of February. So this would have been the Tuesday. All right. He presented sonar images of this find to the review team. He went on to explain that he had brought this credible find to the attention of the search lead on the 7th of February. And following a dive by the Northwest, I can't remember what their acronym is, but it's basically the police divers, right? It was found to be nothing. This caused great concern to Mr. Faulding, who strongly asserted that Lancashire Constabulary lacked professional interest in this find. All right, so just because Peter had found something, they decided just to ignore it. All right, okay, that sounds very likely to have happened. All right, okay. Documentation was recorded daily for the search activities by the search lead and has been reviewed for 7th of February to identify this find and its outcome. The record documents that on this date, the National Search Lead was also in attendance at the scene, and briefed by the search lead, SGI were tasked to search the hot zone, the area around the bench, for the entire day. Okay. It was recorded that during this survey, Mr. Faulding and SGI identified one item on the riverbed which couldn't be ruled out, so police divers dove and cleared the item. So they dove, thought, nobody here, it's tree branches. Right. On the 8th of February, Mr. Faulding stated that their 3-day involvement ended after a thorough and extensive search of the area we were tasked with by Lancashire Police and found no sign of Nicola. Do you think that if he'd found something that he genuinely thought was a body, that he wouldn't have said it in the media? Do you think that he would have walked away saying that there was no sign of Nicola if he thought he'd found a body and the police didn't take him seriously? Given what we know about Peter Faulding, do you think it was likely that he genuinely thought that there was a body that the police were ignoring, and he just walked away and said there was no sign of her, and then continued to quote the media saying she's not in the river, right? Or would he have said, I found something, I think I found the body? What do you think? I think, personally, just my humble opinion, is that this is a retrospective look at how to save face. That's my opinion. That's all. Okay. The dive team was later contacted by the review team regarding this find, and also confirmed the dive had taken place on the 7th of February following the sonar imagery presented by Mr. Faulding and SGI. The dive team worked from the GPS coordinates provided by them, along with a marker that they had placed on the riverbank. The location was close to the bench where Nicola had left her phone and some distance from where she was found. The diver who undertook this dive was able to confirm that the dive took place at 1:20, and the find was found to be tree branches underwater and therefore cleared as negative. Nobody there at all. It's relevant to also add that this same area had previously been searched by the police divers on the 28th and the 31st of January using both sonar equipment and dive methods. They also proved negative. The diver stated, "I'm actually 100% sure there was no body in that part of the water at that time. It's not very often I dive in such an unobstructed body of water with such a flat bottom and with visibility." Oh, the snark. Oh, I can feel the snark coming through his words or her words. Oh, dear. The diver provided their own record of this dive to the review team. The coordinates of the image that their record of that dive match exactly those of SGI's images. The diver also provided the primary dive evidence to the coroner at the inquest into Nicola's death. To supplement this and to provide an independent view, the review team contacted a leading government sonar specialist. So they got the dive, they got the police records, they got the diver, they interviewed the diver, and then they got an independent person to look at the sonar scans taken by SGI. So they got the scans from SGI, right? This just gives the context to what Peter is saying in the media right now. And that people all over social media are drumming up all of these nonsense theories based on what Peter's saying in the media. And this is the truth. This is what actually happened. Okay. To supplement this and to provide an independent view, the review team contacted a leading government sonar specialist for their opinion of the sonar images taken by SGI on the 7th of February. They provided the expert view that they had low confidence that the images were that of a human casualty. Why? Because it was tree branches. Mr. Faulding later contacted the review team on the 26th of October to provide further images of this find. Why did he wait until the 26th of October? To provide additional expert and independent opinion, these and the earlier sonar images were assessed by a lecturer from Cranfield University. So this is another person. They brought another person in. So they got an independent person from, I don't know where, leading government sonar specialist. And then they got some professor from a university. Where's Cranfield University? I've never even heard of it. Anyway, it doesn't matter. They stated, the target cannot positively identified as a human body based on the data presented. In my opinion, this target would be classed as a low probability of confidence for human remains. I would recommend the target be inspected by divers or a robotic camera system following high priority targets in the dive area, which was done, and it was cleared. It was actually cleared 3 times because the divers had been there on 2 previous occasions. They went back, dove it again. It wasn't a human body. They never brought in common sense. Wow, Peter didn't bring in common sense. This review concludes that this find was sufficiently investigated by the search team at the time and was established to be a negative finding. This was additionally supported by the expert opinion of the images from 2 independent scientists. Actual scientists, not pretend scientists. Okay. Maybe, I don't know, go and remove some more protesters. Probably you don't need qualifications for that. You just need a bit of muscle. Leave Swampy alone. Whatever Swampy's doing now. All right. Conclusions. The management. And they had to manage him, right? He wasn't a help. He was a massive pain in the ass. Massive pain in the ass. The management of Mr. Faulding's activities at the scene and his interactions with the media, while discussed at goal group level, and the concern for Lancashire Constabulary was not incorporated into the media strategy. This was despite the clear challenges around public confidence. Well, I think they tried their best. While Lancashire Constabulary attempted to implement measures to ensure Mr. Faulding's compliance with operational objectives, further engagement and intervention may have been helpful. I would have told him to F off. All right, that's what I would have done. I'd have told him to F off. I wouldn't have cared what the family said. I would have said, F off. You're not helping. Get on your bike, get in your van and piss off. Or we'll arrest you for, I don't know, being a pain in the ass. I'd have found a charge or something to arrest him. I'd have found something. Right. Just held him for 24 hours, piss him off. All right. That probably would have fueled a few more fires, though, wouldn't it? Was his cadaver dog on strike? Oh, dear. Okay. Lancashire Constabulary should have considered providing an official force media tent or area either at or near to the scene, resourced by the force's communications team. They could have done. They could have done. They kind of had informally at Penny's. They could have put a tent up and had someone there, but there were people there. They were just kind of there in Penny's yard. They were there. You saw one on my video. They were always there. Like the searchers who were there in the afternoon, like there was a bunch of volunteers there that afternoon on the 6th of February. There was a drone person, you know, this guy took his drone. And they all knew where to go. Like one of them, I passed him. I said hello and exchanged pleasantries with him, and he'd found something that he wanted them to look at, and he was on his way to Penny's to find a cop. So they, like, all the volunteers knew where to go, but yeah, putting a tent up, having a sign or something probably would have helped a little. I don't know. This would have supported the force's engagement with the media and external voices. If a force engages an expert, even if not procured directly, any NDAU should clearly set out the parameters within which the expert is expected to work, as well as likely consequences if these requirements are not met. So I think they set out the parameters. I think they should have told him very clearly what would have happened if he continued to talk to the media and then followed it through. A copy of the NDA should be provided to the expert. That's true. Okay, so that's Peter Faulding. There's not much left, actually, of this chapter, so I'm just going to skim kind of this. So this is the National Crime Agency Expert Advisors Database. So this is what Peter Faulding was on as an expert until he wasn't. So the NCA Experts Advisors Database is a database that contains details of experts and professionals with a wide range of specialisms or experience that support UK law enforcement. The process for inclusion on the NCA Experts Advisors Database by a company or individual is conducted through a variety of sources. These sources include recommendations from investigators or other experts, or from proactive research by the National Crime Agency. The database currently holds approximately 450 experts across a range of areas of specialism. Following receipt from a signed CV and associated references, no further vetting process is conducted by the NCA. The NCA is clear; it does not endorse or accredit any experts held within the database, and is not responsible for cost or contractual implications. Okay. So, just about the database. All right. So it's suggested during a dynamic and developing investigation, it's impractical for a force to undertake vetting or contractual arrangements to the level required. Yeah, which is why they didn't want him. They didn't want him. They were in damage limitation mode. So although he was on this database, it doesn't really. It's not foolproof, is it? The risks identified by this review with the limited regulation and control of experts on the database and risks to wider UK law enforcement was shared with the Director General of the NCA on the 20th of June. A comprehensive review of the experts advisors database has been implemented by the NCA with interim measures to resolve the highlighted areas of concern. So it's even had like the National Crime Agency are now having to change the way that they operate because of Peter Faulding. So legally enforceable NDAs, they should be using legally enforceable NDAs. I mean, it's surprising that they're not, but absolutely they should. Recommendations. The NCA should consider whether experts and advisors on the NCA Experts Advisors database are vetted regularly and reviewed and monitored. Well, they removed Peter Faulding. That's all we need to know. But the problem is, how many other Peter Fauldings are there out there who people consider experts and they're not really? They're a liability. They're a problem. You know, they need tighter checks and stuff. Commercial dive companies. It's appropriate to comment on the use of commercial dive companies by police forces. Consultation was taken place with the NPCC lead, National Police, I don't know, for strategic underwater search and the principal dive contractor, as well as the Metropolitan Police Services underwater search unit. So that's London Police. Kind of they're like the biggest police force in the country. The NPCC Underwater Search Working Group discussed concerns about the use of commercial dive companies by police forces in December of 2022. So just a month before all of this happened. You can turn that van into a burger van. Yeah, you can. It'd make a good burger van. An action was raised for future research to be undertaken with a view to producing guidance to all forces. It was recognised that competence levels, vetting, confidentiality, information sharing, and health and safety made the use of commercial dive companies a potential area of vulnerability for forces, with ultimate liability lying with chief constables. A memorandum of understanding agreement by a commercial company with a force does not negate the chief constable's liability when considering accountability. So all of this stuff, you know, we've no idea that all of this stuff happens. You know, we kind of think that the more hands on deck, the better, but it's not necessarily that. Because when you get somebody who's like Peter Faulding, who just likes the sound of his own voice, who's not prepared to be sensible about the way that he's working, it creates a massive issue. And look at the issue it created. I mean, digging with a spade and then telling the family that he's found a body. I mean, come on now. Come on. I mean, seriously. I mean, these are, you know, how many other people has he and people like him done this to? You know, the police are one thing, but a grieving family is quite another. As a result of the action raised, the subject was placed on the agenda for the NPCC Maritime Policing meeting for wider discussion set for March 2023. On the 14th of February 2023, so when all this was kicking off, a communication was sent by the NPCC lead for maritime policing to all chief constables, reminding them of their obligations and liability with the use of commercial dive teams. So Peter Faulding has caused this ricocheting effect all the way through UK policing. And hopefully it's had a good effect that they've all learnt from the shambles that Peter Faulding caused. Hopefully they'll all be more careful in future. And at the very least, you need to be carefully vetted. But you see, when it's a search for a missing person, time's of the essence, isn't it? So it just shows all hands on deck approach isn't a good one. Which is a shame, because there's a lot of really, really good you know, volunteer search organizations, dive teams. There's so many good ones, so many who help families, who do work in the right way. They're not there for the glory and whatever. They're happy to go out with the cadaver dog or the boat at their own expense, to just go and have a look, go and have a dive or whatever. You know, there's a dive team near me called Beneath the Surface. And they're nothing like this guy, nothing like him. They're such nice people. Honestly. So he's had this ricocheting effect on the entirety of UK policing. And it could be that in future, some genuine experts who are, you know, amateur, but they are very good at what they do, are turned away because they're scared, because police forces are now scared of being in the situation that Lancs police have been in, because they're scared that it's going to be another Peter Faulding. It's horrible. It's recognised that there will be occasions where commercial partner assistance for police dive teams will be appropriate. For example, the provision of more advanced technology and equipment. And this is actively encouraged. That's good. The advice from the NPCC lead for maritime policing is that any urgent request for dive or search capability must, in the first instance, be conducted as a police one, mutual aid request. So it must come from the police. So not from the family, it must come from the police. Where the request is of a less urgent nature, for example, for training or equipment assistance, contact should be made with the NPCC Maritime Policing Portfolio for guidance. I don't know what that means. Okay, further communication advising this guidance was sent to all chief constables again on the 19th of September, advising of the pathway for mutual aid requests. So conclusions. This is the end of the chapter now. Okay. While it's recognised that Lancashire Constabulary did not request the services of SGI and Mr. Faulding, and that he was not deployed by the NCA, a decision was made to use the services of a commercial dive company and to manage the risk. Lancashire Constabulary felt it was placed in an inevitable situation which would lead to a widespread negative perception that the force were not using every opportunity to locate Nicola. They were in a difficult situation. However, the use of a commercial dive company or external organisation places responsibility on the force for health and safety, vetting, forensic and information management, which requires careful consideration. Okay. Police resourcing requests should be the preferred option for urgent capability requests unless there are exceptional reasons. Consultation with them, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So he was taken off the database of experts, and I guess that's all they could have done. You know, it was damage limitation. Yeah, it does. It does. You're right, Mel. It takes a big bump in the head before lessons are learned. But unfortunately, in this case, it meant that there was just a media shitstorm. And it just really did not help the case with the media. It just helped fuel a whole bunch of conspiracy theories, and it meant that the family were not prepared to accept the possibility that she could be in the river. And that's where she was, and it's where she always was. But all right, I'm going to show you where Peter said she was. I'm going to show you where she said where. Okay. So this was from the 26th of March. So that was when I was right down. Okay, I'm going to flare this. So that's the embankment. That's the bench. So that's for flood defense. This is the natural bank here. Right here. Just look at these rocks. I did sharpen the image. I don't know what I'm doing there. Pretending I'm a geologist or something. I think I was saying that's where it comes up to, where the river comes up to. I don't know what I'm doing. All right. Let me find. Stop panning the camera all over. What are you doing? Stop it. I did sharpen these images. After the inquest, the police provided some really good images. Look. Can you see those rocks underneath? And then there's like a shelf. When I sharpen the image, there's like this rocky, shallow shelf here, and then there's like a big drop off, and it ends up being like maybe a few feet from the edge. It's about 15 feet. It's like just drops like a sheer drop down. There, look. But I'll show you where Peter said she was. Oh, look at that. Oh, no. Look at that. Look at them. The size of them rocks. That's what Nicola fell onto. Okay. That's where Peter said she was. Yeah, no reeds. There's no reeds along the entire stretch from the bench all the way to where she was found. That's where Peter said she was. He called that an island in the river. That's what he told the media. That's what he told the media. He thought she was near an island in the river here. Right. The reason I'll tell you why I know this. Because, okay, I don't know whether it's this article. Might be another article. I'll find it in a minute. I read it this afternoon. I'm going to read this anyway. The involvement of Peter Faulding was criticised in a report after it emerged that Mr. Faulding, since being taken off a list of police experts, he has since told Sky News it has been taken off the list for no reason. No reason. His reputation has been damaged, and that if police had used the right expertise earlier, Miss Bulley could have been found sooner. He told Sky News something's not right here, and maintains he found Miss Bulley before police did. The criticism came after Mr. Faulding told media during the search that police had low-tech diving equipment and were unlikely to find a body. When Miss Bulley's family became aware of his claims, efforts were made to contact SGI, so we know all that. Okay. Oh, dear. Where's where he speaks? Okay. I'll play that little clip in a minute, but I'm going to have to... oh, that's the Sky News one that I've already seen. Okay. Peter Faulding, Nicola Bulley. Okay, which one was it? I think it was that. Yeah, it was. Okay. This is what he told LBC News. Because he's being hounded by the media again. He's being hounded by the media again. Okay. Okay, so I found Nicola Bulley within 6 minutes, 12 days before police discovered her. Police didn't discover her, a member of the public did. Okay. All right. The dive expert claimed that his sonar imaging resulted in a credible find on February the 7th, and police lacked professional interest. Okay, that's his little van there. Look at him. Look at him. All right. Okay. Officer said Miss Faulding's find, Mr. Faulding's find were just tree branches. Mr. Faulding said maybe he had been mistaken, but changed his mind after reviewing the evidence again. All right. He said on Tuesday, my team and I commenced the search at 10:28 a.m. and 6 minutes later at 10:34 a.m. I identified a significant target that appeared from my experience to take human form. So it was a human-shaped tree branch. All right. The target was approximately 75 meters downstream from the bench, just south of the river, of the island in the river. Okay. So 75 meters. 75 meters. All right. Here's one I prepared earlier. All right. So this is the bench. Bench is there. Okay. All right. I'm going to measure now. I'm going to measure 75 meters. Meters. 75 meters from the bench. Okay. Why is it not letting me do it? Why are you doing that? Okay. Why are you not letting me search? What, you don't like meters? All right, we'll do something else then. We'll do feet. Okay. You still don't like it. Why don't you want me to? Why are you doing this to me? Why are you doing this? Why do you not want to search? Okay. Try it again. Oh, you're being annoying now. You're being really annoying. Why is it doing that? Stop it. All I want to do is measure. Why are you gripping it? Why have you got your Mickey Mouse hand gripping it? What are you doing that for? That's weird. It's never done that before. Let me do a pin. Let me do a pin. Let me move a pin around. Okay. Let me move a pin around. I don't want a pin though. I want to measure. What are you doing? It still won't let me do it. All right. Anyway, the island in the river. The island in the river. So this is the island that he's talking about right here. This island here. That's an island. So not only does he not know how rivers work, he also thinks that a tree or a shrub or something sticking out of a river is an island. You could go for your holidays there, go on vacation on this island in the river. You could do that. But yeah, that's where he thinks it is. That's an island. I'm curious as to whether it will let me measure if I zoom out or zoom in or something. I don't know why it won't let me measure. Okay, let's try again. You still won't, you little sod. That's weird. It's never done that before. But yeah, so anyway, that's about 75 meters. That's where he thought the body was. Okay. At 10:53 a.m., I notified the Lancashire Police Search Advisor of my findings by telephone. I also sent an image of the target on WhatsApp and requested that we put our SGI divers in the water immediately to check the area. No. My request to dive the target was refused. Good. And I was told that the Northwest Underwater Search Unit would conduct the dive that afternoon. Later, the dive team advised us that the target was found to be nothing. He added, I revisited, analysed, and enhanced every sonar file recorded during my 2-day search, and particularly from the 7th of February, it became clear when enhancing the images with the sonar software tools that the target, which I located, was without a doubt Nicola. So this is what he said yesterday. Without a doubt, Nicola was there. Just south of the river, the island in the river. Okay, although that area had been searched 3 times. 3 times. Okay, and 2 independent scientists looked at those sonar scans and said there was low probability that was a body that was tree branches. This is what he said. This is what he said yesterday. I had, in fact, found Nicola at 10:34 a.m. on the 7th of February 2023, just after 6 minutes of searching. I would have presented my findings and evidence at the coroner's inquest. However, I was not invited to it. Do you wonder why? Do you wonder why? Yeah. And there's Peter searching the area there. You can see no reads or anything. Yeah. Okay. I can't. I just can't. Seriously. So bad. So bad. SGI carried out a sweep of the River Wyre, a 3-mile stretch of the river between St Michael's and Cartford Bridge, over 2.5 days using sonar equipment Mr. Faulding described as state-of-the-art. Yet they still didn't find Nicola. Didn't find Nicola. So even though they're now saying that they searched for 3 miles, okay, so let's look at where Cartmel Bridge is. Okay, so got to zoom out. All right, so Cartmel Bridge is right down here. So Nicola was found. Nicola was found around here-ish. So that's about a mile away. It's on this like straight bit. Okay, Cartmel Bridge is right down here. So if he really went this far, that's Cartmel Bridge. So if he really went that far, really searched all the way. Now we know for a fact they were there on the 6th. And apparently Peter was out searching on the afternoon of the 6th. They did the walk around in the morning. Thought she passed the weir, which she had. Although now he's changing his mind that he found her 75 metres away from the bench, just south of the island, which is a tree sticking out, which he thought the tree branches that were sticking out, which formed the island, were Nicola. And he's now, without a doubt, absolutely positive that that tree was Nicola. Okay. So he's saying that he searched all the way to Cartmel Bridge. So, brum, 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 brum. What sound of boats, mate? Brum, 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 brum. Brum, 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 brum. Nicola's found around here. Okay, so he went straight past her. Straight past her. If, indeed, she was at that tree any length of time. No, she could have been anywhere. She could have been anywhere between the bench, which is here, and here. Because remember, this is from the weir, it's tidal, so there's a chance that the body will move. I think, though, because we had a storm, if you remember, those of you in Lancashire, we had a storm a few days before she was found. And I found a spot which I think, oh, I've just turned it off. I'm so annoying. Oh, no, I don't want I don't need that. I don't need that. Okay. From May. This is I have to find the right file. So this is from May. What are you doing? Oh, I've got to watch this. Look at all them reads there. Look at all them reads. Look at them all. All them reads. Look at all those reads. Look at them all. So many reads. It's proper shallow there as well. So that's just upstream of where Nicola was found. What are you doing? She's got like a dead bird or something. She's rolling on a dead bird. Oh, Cassie. Oh, Cassie. Stop it. Dear me. Yeah, let's roll on the dead bird. Okay. Right. Oh, look at them. They were eyeing me up. They weren't happy I was like in the field. This is where I think a body could have got lodged. If I can find it. Look how clear the water is there. This was in May. The river was really down. Here, this area. I think a body could have got lodged in there. Somewhere in there. And sonar wouldn't have picked it up. So we're going to let Peter off. And anybody on the path walking, because there was lots of searchers walking up and down, wouldn't have seen a body if it had got lodged in that tree somewhere. There's like this channel there. And then, can you see? That was probably one of the only places where a body could have got lodged for any length of time without being found. And it's not far from, just keep walking, the bridge. Oh, Michelle. So that's what it looks like from that side. Zoom back round. Right. So that's the road there. That's St. Michael's, and that's the road where the iron bridge is. Can you see? There's the iron bridge. So it's not far. That tree's not far. And I think that's one of the only places where a body could have got lodged and not be seen by sonar and not be seen by people walking who were just like looking at the banks. That was just my opinion, having walked the route. But there's no sound. There's no sound on this video because I'm talking. There's no sound on the video because I'm not talking on the video. I'm just showing you the different areas. And then that's back to the weir. So that's all the way from all them reeds there. Look at them all. All them reeds. See the horses. Oh, they're cute, aren't they? Springers and labs that do that to dead birds. Yeah, I think they all do it. They all do it. They love it. It's like perfume to them. But yeah, it's very clear, like the water. I mean, the water's really down in May here. It'd be interesting to go back now to look at what the river looks like now, because we've had so much rain over the last few weeks. The river must be really quite high now. But yeah, that tree, that tree there, that fallen tree there, and I think possibly like a storm surge or wind even, it would dislodge your body and then move it back further downstream. I don't know. That was just a speculation when I saw that tree. That was all. Anyway, I've been talking for way too long. I've been on 2.5 hours, even though I was saying that I was going to keep these fairly short so that they could be watched. That horse. Please do not mistake me for a human, Peter. Yeah, imagine that the water's level's high and the current's fast, yeah. Peter isn't reading the room. That's funny. Anyway, guys, I'm going to go. So I'll be back tomorrow with the next installment. So we're going to start back and then work through. So we've done chapter 5. So that's the last chapter. Let me just have a quick look at the appendices before I let you go. Hold on. Let's... Where's it gone? Because we won't have to look at all of these appendices. So glossary, so that's just terms. Investigative timeline. So that's interesting to know, but probably don't need to talk about that too much. Initial timeline of events. It's interesting to know. I think we know it though, honestly. Good for reference. Full methodology. Might be interesting to read. So there's some pages that we don't need to read, but we'll be back near the beginning. So I think I'm towards the end of chapter 1. So I'll be back tomorrow. Probably about the same time. Just got here. Did I hear that Westerman's been arrested? What? Mitch Westerman's been arrested? Seriously? Hold on. Are you kidding me or not? I always just assume everyone's kidding me. Reddit will know. Hold on. What's he been arrested for? Hold on a minute. New. Oh, he has as well. Look at this. Mitch Westerman arrested, charged with criminal misdemeanor. Based on the probable cause listed here, Gold should not have found gross negligence on Baldwin and Rosie's part. Can Karen Co incorporate that into their petition to the Supreme Court? Is Mark Cohen getting charged too? Good. I'm glad. So where's the probable cause? Where's the document? What are we looking at? Sorry, guys. Those who just here for Nicola, I'm done with Nicola's case. We're on Delphi now. We're on Delphi. We're always on Delphi. All right, let's have a look at this. Okay. What's the charge? Motion to keep arrest warrant and charging information confidential. Oh, here we go. Okay. This is switching it up. I was just about to go. Who is he, Linda? Right. He's the guy. Oh, Linda. He's the guy who went into Andrew Baldwin's office, allegedly, sometime in August, and took photos of crime scene photos from the Delphi case, and then gave them to someone called Robert, who then took his own life. Robert took his own life, not before passing the photos on to someone called Mark. Oh, it's been a whole thing, Linda, honestly. Okay. So Benjamin Rector is writing the affidavit here. All right. Law enforcement was advised that on or about October 5th, 2023, the evidence from the murder case, State of Indiana versus Richard Allen, had been released to the public. There is currently an order from the court that the case prohibiting the release of evidence to the public. Are they going to arrest all these law enforcement people who've been giving crime scene information to podcasters? I'm just asking for a friend. Law enforcement was made aware of this evidence that may have been obtained illegally and began an investigation. I guess that law enforcement, though, are giving it to podcasters. They're not having stuff stolen from their offices. Because taking photographs of naked children, dead children who have been murdered, surely is a criminal offence. Okay, right. Thought it was. Law enforcement was made aware that this evidence may have been obtained illegally and began an investigation. Law enforcement was able to retrieve the evidence from the creator of a podcast who stated, so that's Murder Sheet, who stated that they got the evidence from an individual in Texas. So that'll be Mark. Indiana State Police First Sergeant Jerry Holman, okay, who was able to identify the individual in Texas as Mark Robert Cohen. Mark Cohen was interviewed and law enforcement obtained screenshots and messages between Mark Cohen and an individual named Robert Fortson. Robert Fortson and Mark Cohen have various discussions about various pieces of evidence involved in the Richard Allen case. I, Indiana State Police Detective Ben Richter, was assigned to assist in the investigation. As part of the investigation, affiant, so Ben, completed interviews with attorney Brad Rosie and Andrew Baldwin on October the 12th concerning the evidence that was taken without consent in regards to the representation of Richard Allen. Affiant previously knew that Rosie and Baldwin were attorneys which were assigned to represent Richard Allen in his criminal charges. During the course of the interview, Andrew Baldwin, Detective Rector, learned that Baldwin is an associate of Mitchell Westerman. Baldwin has known Westerman for several years, and Westerman was previously employed in Baldwin's law firm. Westerman is no longer employed by the law firm, however, he still routinely stops by to the firm to visit with staff and Baldwin. On October 9th, Westerman contacted Baldwin around 4 p.m. and requested to meet with him. They met at Baldwin's office shortly afterwards. Westerman told Baldwin that he had used his cellular phone to take photographs of photographs which were in Baldwin's conference room. The photographs depicted the crime scene related to the criminal charges against Richard Allen. Westerman stated that he had done this a couple of months prior and that he had shared them with an individual named Robert Fortson. Through the course of the investigation, law enforcement learned that Fortson shared these photos with another individual in Texas, Mark Cohen. Cohen then shared them with various creators of YouTube channels and podcasts. Baldwin stated that based on the timing of events, he believed that there were in fact crime scene photos from the Richard Allen case in the conference room when Westerman visited the office. He also stated that there would have been side-by-side photographs which were previously used by the defence team in depositions. Photographs that Baldwin described are consistent with photographs that the affiant had viewed which were released of the crime scene. Baldwin stated that he did not authorise Westerman to take these photographs. During the interview with Rosie, he also indicated that he did not authorise Westerman to take the photographs. Rosie further concluded that he believed that Westerman's taking of the photographs constituted theft because he did not believe that anyone had authorised Westerman to take the photos. An affidavit was also provided to Allen County Judge. Judge Gull, which stated the following, and that's what he admitted, that he'd done it. All right. Affiant further believes that the above-mentioned facts establish probable cause to believe that Mitchell Westerman had committed an act of conversion. Order sealing the arrest warrant and charging information. Well, it's here. It's here. It's here. What are you talking about? It's not sealed, is it? It's here. What's that? Indiana Code 334343. Indiana law. What was it? 334343. Oh, it's theft. Theft, conversion, and receiving stolen property. Conversion. A person who knowingly or intentionally exerts unauthorized control over property of another person commits criminal conversion. It's a level 6 felony if committed by a person who exerts unauthorized control over a motor vehicle. Okay. All right. Well, that's a turn up for the books, isn't it? Let's download that, given that it's going to get sealed. And there we go. All right. Okay, right. Really, I'm going to go this time. Conversion is misdemeanor theft in Indiana. Well, yeah, thank you for letting me know. Something else to talk about in the Delphi case. Oh, man, there's something every single day. Every single day with the Delphi case. Anyway, I'm going to go now. Thank you, as always. Thanks for the donations. I think did I have any donations? Yeah, I had one earlier on. Sorry if I missed any, but when I'm doing a lot of reading, I do tend to miss things. But yeah, thanks as always to the mods, and I will see you same time tomorrow night with more of this Nicola Bulley document. All right, enjoy the rest of your day. Bye, guys.